This is very dramatic. I feel very warm because it's very hot outside. It's not like very hot, but it's like one of the hotter days so far this year. So yesterday I wrote up to 2,744 words in chapter 4. What are you doing, bud? Don't knock down my jewelry box. I don't think you can get up there, hon. It's too small of a ledge. Wow! He did it. Look at him. He's gonna knock down all of my shit, though. Now you have less chance of breaking a bunch of my stuff. I wrote 454 words last night. And, oops. Hello. So I actually got into some dialogue stuff because my two main characters are now in the same place so they can talk to each other. And I really can't tell if I am writing good dialogue or not. I'm gonna have to brush up on like my editing skills when I get to that point on like how I should actually be, like what things I should be looking for. So I'm not sure at all what I'm gonna write today. I'm not really sure what direction I'm going in, so I'm sorry, I have like barely anything valuable to say, so I'm gonna go now. Bye. So you may wonder, what is this on my screen? Is it a diagram of how worms move? Yes, it is. So the reason is, I took a shower after writing. I kind of ended up finishing chapter 4. I believe I might add on the beginning of the next chapter to the end of chapter 4, and see if it flows well that way. It only has 3,282 words. I just thought I was at a pretty good stopping point. I took a shower and I was thinking about how I wanted the next chapter to unfold and how I wanted the plot in general to unfold. And I decided that basically my next step is for the main male character to make a joke about the main female character, and how she studies wormhole science, and make a joke about how she traveled there essentially like an earthworm. So I had to Google what the parts of a worm that help it move through the earth are called. And one, there's the body segments that like expand and contract. And then two, there's setae, I believe, that are like the little hairs that actually grip onto the surface and propel the worm forward. So, boy, are her segments and setae tired. Also had to Google what comedians dress like because they were getting ready to go to his comedy show, and I was like, what would a comedian wear to be on stage? Which I know what some comedians wear. There's some people who wear suits, there's some people who are like a t-shirt and jeans. And anyway, I read an article about it that kind of the main conclusion was, unless it's a part of the act, like a costume or something, you should dress so the clothes don't detract from the show. So I went with like khakis and a shirt. I think I know the direction that I want to go now, which is a pretty big relief. And I also now know a little bit more about how worms actually propel themselves through the ground. Okay, one last development. So it's actually pronounced CT according to this very fancy website. It's pretty cute. Hello. So today is Saturday, June 8th. I didn't write for 2 days in a row. So on Thursday, I went to a friend's house and watched a movie, and that was fun. And then on Friday, I fell asleep. I was so tired that I just passed out, and then I was like reading in bed. I fell asleep, and then I just went to bed after reading more. So yeah, it's actually very hot this weekend. I am wearing a crop top and the most booty shorts ever. So I'm just dying. This little room is actually pretty warm compared to the rest of the house because there's this single pane window here. I think it's single pane. It's an old house. So it's really hot. My computer actually got mad at me and started turning off because it was overheating, I believe. I was trying to edit. This morning I filmed the AuthorTube newbie 2.0 tag. Also, oh my god, I have such a big zit on my face right now, and I was like editing it like this is my introduction to AuthorTube is fucking zit face. I even edited it out of the thumbnail in Photoshop because I was like, nobody's gonna click on my zit face. I still need to edit the previous writing vlog. I finished chapter 4 last update, so I think on Wednesday. And today, this morning, I've written like 260 or something like that. Yeah, 267. I filled up my whiteboard. So my whiteboard has spaces for 5 weeks, and I have filled it up. So as of today, I've been keeping track of my writing for about 5 weeks. It's so hot that I got a little washcloth and I just wiped my cat down because he's a big, fuzzy, fat cat. And I was like, he's gonna be so hot. So I just made him a little bit damp so that he would cool off. Oh my god, the sun is wilting me right now. We're at the main male character's comedy show, and now I have to figure out what happens typically if you're a small comedian and you're showing up. I guess it would be to an open mic, but he's kind of scheduled. So the best thing that I can think to compare it to is in the Blues Brothers when they show up to a bar and they're gonna play. So it's gonna be like that. But he's not famous. So, but I mean he's a little bit famous for niche comedian people. There are people who would follow his career. So there is somebody that they're gonna meet at the end of the show who's a fan. Because that's what I figured out. The secret sauce of how to keep this plot moving forward. I'm getting increasingly tired. Goodbye. It is Sunday, the 9th. It is so hot today. I am very, very warm. If I look like I've melted, that is why. I wrote a little bit this morning. I'm up to 874 words in chapter 5. I plotted my word count statistics. I'll include a graph. I wrote some of the comedies set, and I'm not sure if I want to write the rest of it or if I just want to be and then he was done, and it's fine, because 5 minutes, I don't want to write a 5-minute comedy set. I signed up for Camp Nanowrimo, so I had to create a title, synopsis, put in an excerpt, and I also had to come up with the cover. I don't think you have to do all of those things, but I did put in some clips here of actually generating the cover art. I was doing that when I was less hot, so I wasn't completely miserable. So, how I actually made the cover art was I took an IKEA catalog and I cut out like little circles and squares and stuff. Basically what I was going off of was cool textures that were kind of like, they would look interesting if they were in a circle. The circles are supposed to represent the planets. And then a bunch of like fabric and fabric folds to represent kind of the space itself. So I have that. Oh, and there's also some paper rolls as well. So I ended up making this collage with that. I took a picture of this collage with my phone, and then I did some editing on Photoshop to basically take little circles out of the collage and arrange them, and then like have a border out of the collage as well. So it's kind of artistic. So I ended up calling the story Long Distance Made Shorter, which I don't like as a name at all. I really don't have a good name right now, but it is about a long distance relationship and the use of like wormholes to make it shorter. Or instantaneous travel. Here's my synopsis. This actually uses the characters' names, so I think you'll figure it out. Cal 2 Rena is a graduate student studying the hypothetical science of wormholes. She's in a long-distance relationship with Zolf, a comedian going on an interplanetary stand-up tour. Attempting to see her darling Zolf, Cal ends up making the hypothetical entirely real. And that is what my synopsis is. I should probably write more. I'm so hot and tired though. All I've been doing, I feel like, is watching videos and TV and stuff. It's so warm. I watched the F1 race. That was very exciting. By exciting, I mean controversial.